Good Saturday evening, everybody. Okay, it's pushing almost the 10 o'clock hour. I wasn't going to do a video because I had a little bit of an emergency with my AC, which leads me to our after chat. It is going to be very brief because it is getting kind of late. But we are going to do an after chat this evening, and I want to talk to you about what I think of AC service plans. And you may think, what does that have to do with money? Well, it has everything to do with money. So for those who would like to stick around for a few minutes for the after chat, I'm going to give you my experience on AC service contracts. All right. So I hope you'll stick around for that. All right. I'm Carrie. This is Student Loan Chit-Chat. Let's go ahead and do this. This is Dave Ramsey. This ran, I believe, August 22nd last year. We can always learn from it. $175,000 in student loan debt for this. I'm going to hear it right along with you. So let's go ahead and we will take this down, down, down. I do appreciate you all for joining me this evening. For those of you who are still awake, and if you get this on Sunday morning, happy morning to you. Let's do it.
Noah's in Sacramento.
Hi,
Noah.
Noah.
How can we help?
Hey, Dave. I've got a question. I've got a considerable amount of student debt in a Parent Plus loan, and I'm trying to figure out how to make affordable payments on a loan that's in my parents' name. It feels a little bit unaffordable at the moment.
Okay, let me see now. He said, I'm adjusting my earpiece volume. He said he's making loans on his Parents Plus. If I'm hearing this correct, I think this is probably the student, and the student is making the loan for his parents.
What's the total amount of debt?
It is 175.
And
Good Lord. Are you a doctor or a lawyer?
Neither one.
What did you get your degree in?
Christian Ministries. I'm a pastor.
For 100.
Oh, dang. $175,000. Might as well make it 200K when you factor in the interest. As a matter of fact, it'll probably go over that. Oh, I was not prepared for that. What is it with religion? At least I do. Okay, I shouldn't say we. I always associate that as the last place that should have student loan debt of that magnitude. Oh, that's too bad.
$75,000?
Dang.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. To be a pastor, and hopefully a good pastor, right? Not the type, not those slimy ones that you see on TV going, I need to have 4 airplanes because it is the Lord's work for me to get around the globe in first class. I cannot spend my time sitting with the economy folk because that would slow down my preaching. Who's that god-awful pastor? Oh, man, to be a pastor.
Okay.
See, everybody's sighing. I bet you out there are sighing too. Everybody's sighing. I was not expecting that. I think it's because we associate, okay, we're going to assume good, honest pastors. We associate people who do stuff like that, the religious stuff, okay? I guess there are kind of 2 camps of religion. That's kind of the way I see it. There are the really honest pastors. Look, I don't care if they live in a decent house. Okay. Yeah, they're helping lots of people. Okay. It's just like Ramsey, Ramsey's very wealthy, but he helps millions and millions and millions and millions of people. Okay. But then we have the other side, which is the church. Okay. And I think to myself, I can't imagine to read a Bible, to share the word of God, if that's what you believe in. Okay. Believe, don't believe. That's between you and whomever, you do believe in. Okay. At least I don't think of that as someone who should be taken by the student loan system. And yeah, I understand that. Well, we're all kind of stuck in this student loan, system. I get it. But there are just certain things you don't do. You don't take candy from a baby, and you don't charge honest, good, religious church pastors nearly 200 grand in debt so they can spread the word.
Bad choice. And
That long pause was Ramsey. That was not me being slow on the trigger. I think it's taken us all by surprise.
God, that was not. You may be called to the ministry. You weren't called to this mess.
I agree.
What is your household income?
60,000.
Oh, son, I'm so sorry. So mom and dad took out these loans, the Parent Plus loans,
Correct.
and they can't pay them.
I mean, they can pay part. Our agreement was that we would split it half before I went to school. That was the agreement.
Parents, parents, parents. And I know I'm not a parent and I don't have kids, but I've said it before and I'm going to say it 100 times. Do not take out Parent Plus loans. Just, if you don't have the money to write a check to pay the bill. And one of the best arguments, and I've said it before on this channel, and I'll keep saying it, one of the best arguments that I've read about it, okay? Because, I do a lot of reading on this stuff. But one of the best arguments I've read is that your kids have more time to pay off a debt than you do, although that may be changing with the way debt is going nowadays. But for all intents purposes, okay, your kids have more time to pay off debt than you do, and your kids also have time to adjust their career schedule. So in other words, one route or one path doesn't work for them to go to school. They have another route that they can take. They are more flexible. They are more adjustable than you are as the parent, supposedly starting to gear up and get ready for retirement. So unless you have the assets to be able to pay it off, and that should not mean, well, we only have it if we give up the car, we give up the house, okay? But you have other assets like, okay, we're going to take on a $40,000 parent loan, but we've got $40,000 in stocks, okay? That sort of stuff. Or even if you are going to give up a house, hey, we don't mind downsizing after our kids graduate and using the equity to pay off the bill.
Are they struggling to pay them right now?
They've been in deferment and forbearance and whatnot, so nobody's made any payments on them at this point.
And don't forget, okay, so this is in 2022. This is obviously before payment started and before student loan payment started. So these are clearly federal loans, okay? And then we are on the on-ramp period right now, all right? So technically, even a year later, December 2023, a year later, they can still not pay them. But the problem is now, as we all know, interest has accrued. So we got to keep that in mind. They could not afford the loan. This is really heartbreaking.
And I mean, my parents' household income is considerably more than ours. We're just trying to figure out, again, I don't know how a lot of this works, but I've been told by the lender and whatnot that we can't, like, consolidate them into my name or anything like that.
Can't.
And so we're just trying to figure out what to do.
And this is one of the biggest issues I have with Parent Plus loans, and I am sure the financial aid office sells. And one of the issues I have is, and I'm sure the financial aid office sells on this, they'll say something, I don't know, I'm just assuming, okay? Because so many parents take these Parent Plus loans and really, sorry, it's here, I'm hitting the mic, and they really don't seem to have an idea as to how these loans work, okay? A lot of parents think that they can take out a Parent Plus loan and just easily have their child sign over it later, okay? But you have to think in terms of the way a bank thinks. Why would they allow your Parent Plus loan to get signed over to your kid when they know you have most likely more income, more assets? You're closer to Social Security because they can tap that if you don't pay it. If you have disability payments, they can tap that. Okay. If you're working, they can tap that. In other words, your child basically has to show that they don't need the loan to be able to transfer the loan over to them. You see? And that's where a huge problem is. So these parents are taking these loans going, oh, I can just transfer it. The other issue with Parent Plus loans, especially for those who are thinking they can get on, loan forgiveness program with Parent Plus, you really have to check the ins and outs of loan forgiveness. It's not as straightforward as when your child takes it out. Okay, and I know they're not children anymore. They're in their 20s, but you get what I mean. So it's not as straightforward. I really, really believe parents should never put their retirement, the roof over their head, at risk to send a child to school. I think a different alternative needs to be found. And this bill for $175,000 to be a pastor, I mean, that's criminal. Which should show you, it should show you, look, it doesn't matter what you're going for, who you are. The school wants your money. So you better make sure that what you're going for, you can, pay it off hopefully in a reasonable amount of time. I could never pay my $110,000 off. Thank God for PSLF. Okay. But you need to, some people I think go to school and they think, oh, I love the school and the school loves me. The school don't give a crap. It really doesn't. Okay. What the school cares about is you are a body in a chair. They don't want empty spaces. They don't want empty classrooms. That's what the school cares about.
They're going to be in their name. You're just going to assist in the payment of it. And so,
and if he can't assist in the payment of it, it's not on him. It's actually on his parents. This is a bad situation all around, because if he can't assist, and it really doesn't sound like he's going to be able to, it's not because he's a bad son. It's not because he didn't want to assist. He can't. But it also shows how easily both parents and child, and I put that in quotes, okay, the student, okay, can easily overlook how much they're actually taking out. It's so easy to overlook it in the excitement of, oh, you're getting the program. This is the degree you want. Go for it.
so they're going to give you like their password and the website, and you're going to jump on there and pay payments on their loan. It's their loan. It's going to be their loan until it's over.
Exactly. And if the son were to do nothing, pay nothing, nothing legal would happen to the son. It would all be on the parents, which, and I've said it before, I think is such an unfair position to put the children in. I just don't think adult kids who are trying to set up their life should be put in this position. I don't think parents should either.
But you're just
Right, okay.
your moral agreement, your handshake is that you're picking up half of it. And so,
Correct.
What does your wife make?
She's not working at the moment. We have a young daughter, and she's pregnant, literally 9 days past her due date today.
Oh wow,
with
that's
our
good.
second kid.
Good.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
So I
Thank
assume she's planning on going back to work though.
Yeah, when we don't have very young children, yes, that's the plan.
Whoops. Well, I just messed that up. All right, guys, we're just going to take a technical pause. We're just going to scroll right through here. Okay, we're now back on track. I accidentally hit the wrong key. That sometimes happens with all these buttons. Okay, here we go.
So,
Correct.
What does your wife make?
She's not working at the moment. We have a young daughter, and she's pregnant, literally 9 days past her due date today.
Oh wow,
with
that's
our
good.
second kid.
Good.
Congratulations.
So I
Thank
assume
you.
she's planning on going back to work though.
Yeah, when we don't have very young children, yes, that's the plan.
I can't imagine as a pastor, especially one that owes $175,000, I can't imagine he's making much beyond 50, 60. Okay. If we're going with past videos on what pastors make, it could be even less than that. But I'm not so sure that his wife can afford to be a stay-at-home grandma because their young daughter's having a child. I mean, that's the way I kind of see it. She's going to be a stay-at-home grandma. I'm not sure that's a luxury they can afford. I mean, lots of people I know have children who have kids. They become grandparents. They visit the kid for, a week or so, and then they're back on the job. I don't like to say, staying at home is a luxury, okay, because I'm sure it involves a lot of work. However, I'm not sure as the grandparent, this is a luxury that they can afford. And judging from Dave's long pause, I think we might be in agreement. I mean, because you're looking at what? 5 years out, maybe 6, and the thousands of dollars lost, I don't see it.
All right. Well, I mean, you're just going to be paying payments on this, Noah. And the math is telling me that this is a highly stressful situation. So
It is.
I think you're going to be what we call a bivocational pastor. You're going to be running side hustles of some kind. There's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't. Most pastors, statistically, one number I saw was 80% of them are bivocational in America right now, and there's no shame in that. It doesn't
Meaning they have, more than one job.
diminish your call. It doesn't do any of that, but it's not unusual at all for a young pastor to be bivocational. And you're going to have some more money.
All right, that's the end of the video. Here's the bottom line. I don't think his wife can afford to sit at home and be a luxury grandma. Not if he's going to pay off this student loan. Not if he's going to pay off the student loan debt and go above the minimum. Sometimes that might be a calling. His wife didn't expect to have to go to work, but I think it may be what has to be done. And people say, well, yeah, but she'll be taking care of the daughter so that the daughter, doesn't have to put her child in daycare and, have to have the daughter's money go to that. But my thinking is, okay, is the mom going to be paid? Okay, is his wife going to be paid for the service, or is this just grandma's going to be here for free for the next half a decade? And the other thing, and it is a truthful, tough love reality, the daughter chose to have a child. Okay, the daughter chose to have a child. The daughter may have to go through what lots of other people have had to go through. I know my parents did it when they had, when they adopted me. And I remember my mom telling me, years later after I got older. Okay. But she would say, the first few years, all we did was work to pay the child care bill. Okay. To put you in Montessori school, private Montessori. Okay. So it's not his wife's job to see that the daughter has the necessary daycare, I'm assuming for free, for her child. It's the daughter's job to take care of the child. It's the daughter's job to arrange it. If the daughter needs to work a job and a half to be able to have the blessed child, then that's what the daughter has to do. But the daughter, the daughter having a child should not come at the expense of her mother, who is she expected to stay at home and take care of the child. Not unless she's getting paid. She should be getting paid at least 75% of what the cost of daycare would be. And infants are very, very expensive. I know they can cost upwards of, a couple thousand. I mean, they're infants. Okay. But if this is just, my wife's going to stay home and she's going to play with the baby all day for the next, half a decade or longer, I don't think that's good. And it's not their responsibility to raise the daughters to raise their grandkid. It's just not. And I will tell you, I've spoken to many parents, and I know some just flat out say, my kid can have a child, but they better not be expecting that I'm going to raise them and stay at home and quit my job and all of that stuff. I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing that if you can afford it, but I don't think this couple is in that position to afford it. All right. That is the end of this video. I want really quickly, for those who wish to stay for the after chat, and this is not going to be a real long after chat. Any of you guys probably know that, by now, whenever I say, oh, this isn't going to be really long, and then it turns out, a 4-minute video turns into a 45-minute, production. All right. I turn my head when I'm drinking, so I don't drink straight into the microphone. All right. Let's talk about something that I think is pretty important, and that is called air conditioning service contracts. And that's basically where you have if you're a homeowner, okay, typically it doesn't involve renters, but unless that's part of your deal to maintain the the building or whatnot. But for homeowners, before I became a condo owner in 2020, I had heard about air conditioning companies having these things called service contracts, and of course, new at home ownership and all of that stuff for the most part. Okay. I had a house really briefly when I was married. We had a house for like 5 years. So that aside, and I never really took care of the maintenance. Okay. My ex-husband did that. So when I got into my condo, there was one thing I was really, really concerned about, and that was making sure I had the best plumber and the best AC company. So this is about the AC company if you're here in Tampa, or even if you're not in Tampa, it might help you make up your mind on whether or not this is the right thing for you. Okay. One of the things that I had heard about was if you're a homeowner, you can hook up with an AC company and get an annual service contract. And basically what that is for a few $100s a month. I'm sure it varies, city to city, economy and all that stuff. Okay. But basically you pay a flat fee per year. Okay. And I think most companies probably have you pay it once a year. Maybe it's paid twice, but I'm going to assume that most of them are paid on an annual basis. Okay. And they come and they check your AC system a couple times a year. They give you a discount if there's an emergency service. Maybe you get some discounts on other parts and stuff, whatever. It's individual to each company. I know there are some home warranty companies, national home warranty companies, and then there's your more local mom and pop companies. Even if they're franchise, they're probably still considered more local mom and pop feel. Okay. So through word of mouth, I chose a company here in Tampa called Caldeco. As a matter of fact, I'm going to change screens here really quickly. Just let me change screens, and I'm going to type in Caldeco. Hold on. I'm moving screens here, folks. Just bear with me because I wasn't I told you, this is the after chat. After chat, people, is casual, okay? So if you're looking for anything really formal, after chat is not formal. After chat is very informal. All right, I'm going to take this. I'm going to minimize this screen down here, okay? And let me tell you something. So I've had a YouTube channel, as you know, for about 5 years. This is the first time I've ever discussed a company on my YouTube channel. But I think it's important because this channel is all about financial responsibility. Okay, I think you can see all that. Okay, Caldeco. So there they are. This is here in Tampa. That's the 813 Tampa phone number. And again, even if you don't have, even if you're not in Tampa, this might help you to decide whether or not this sort of service is right for you, based on my experience. I got to hold on here. Isn't after chat fun? So casual. Okay, for those of you that want to stick around, thanks for being here. All right. So here's this. So this is the company that I'm talking about. It's Caldeco. It's here in Tampa. Okay, because I'm aware that some people may not be looking at the screen. It's spelled Caldeco. Their phone number, and again, that's Caldeco, Caldeco Air Conditioning and Heating. Their phone number is 813-254-2211. That number again here in Tampa, for those who may not be able to look at the screen, is 813-254-2211. All right, so here's what happened this evening. All right. Yesterday, when I went to bed, I heard this gush of water. Okay, just like this huge gush of water pouring. And I literally dashed out of bed, and I'm like, where is this water coming from? Well, long story short, it turns out, I guess, I'm not an AC person, so please forgive me for my technicals, okay? But something to do with a water supply line and coming into the place and possibly filled up with debris, and it needed to all be cleaned out, okay? Which is exactly, it appears that that's what it was. So here's the thing. When I moved in 2020, I looked for a company through word of mouth. I chose Caldeco, and no, they did not pay me for this. Matter of fact, I just did a Google review and told them that this was being done. They have no idea. Okay. I did a Google review this evening, and it's December 9th. Okay. So I went through word of mouth because that's the only way I wanted to choose an AC company. And I want somebody that was local, not just an 800 number that I was going to friggin' call. So I chose Caldeco. Well, since 2020, I've been on their AC service plan. Okay. They come out twice a month. They clean everything, yada, yada. They gave me some basic tips about making sure I change my filter every 4 weeks. I probably change it closer to every 6 weeks, but it does get changed. And that's the good part. Okay. And they basically maintain your system. But as we all know, we don't know if a company is really good until we really, really, really need them. Have you ever had it where your auto insurance company, okay, writes you and says, how are we doing? And you're like, dang, I haven't ever had to use you. All I've ever done is pay the bill. And I'll actually write them back and say, I'll let you know how you're doing when I actually need you. Funny, I never get a response to that. Okay. Now, in the case of Caldeco, they do come out every 6 months. All right. And what's neat is they're very, very trustworthy. I'm like never home when they come out. I just give them my, I have a Ring camera, code access, the whole 9 yards, and they just come in, do their thing, and then they leave. Okay. So you never really know how good a company is until you absolutely need them. Now, in this case, I've always known they were good because they service my best friend's house, but also I've seen them, twice a year for the last 3 years. Well, tonight, water hitting the floor, the water drip pan underneath the water heater. Fortunately, it was cold, so that meant it wasn't the water heater issue. But I mean, fortunately, it wasn't hot. But basically, water's dripping. So I immediately shut off the water after calling my plumber and saying, "Do I call you or my AC person?" And he said, and I have a really good relationship with my plumber, and that's Cass Plumbing, CASS, Cass Plumbing here in Tampa. And he says, "Call your AC company." So I called Caldeco, and it was probably around, I don't know, it's hard for me to remember, maybe 5 or so. They were out they said 3 hours. They were out in closer to 2 hours, and they fixed the entire thing. And because I was on the service plan, not only did I not get charged the fee for coming out, okay, no parts needed to be added or anything like that. The bill would have been 300 plus, and because I was on the plan, it didn't cost me anything. Now, here's the thing that I think people need to be aware of, okay? People will say, God, I sound like I'm doing an infomercial. Look, this is After Chat. I just want to share my experience so that you can decide on your own, okay? Because obviously, if you watch this channel, if you subscribe to this channel, you clearly care about your finances, all right? So, by the way, my dream job, remember, this is After Chat, anything goes. My dream job has always to been, well, if I weren't a teacher, okay, I would love to work for a home shopping network and sit there, and advertise stuff, And here we have the new JBL. Okay, I'm getting off track. This is After Chat. Okay, so anyways, you really don't know how good a company is until you actually need them. And this company came through with flying colors. Not only were they able to verify that, yes, I like to call it the VIP plan, but it's the extended service contract, okay? Here's something that people need to remember. People will sit and go, oh, $200, $250 a month, or, $200, $250 a year, okay? Whatever their plan is, some companies might be $300, $400 a year, some might be $150. You really have to kind of check around, okay? But not only were they able to immediately verify that, yep, I was on the service plan, somebody answered on a Saturday, at 5-6 p.m. Okay. And even if they had not been able to come out this evening, they would have come out on Sunday, because once you're on that service plan, and I think it's probably like this with most AC companies, I really don't know. I can only really speak with my experience with Caldeco. You're bumped to the top. Because here's the bottom line, folks. When your AC or when your plumbing goes, guess what? You want to be first in line. People will sit and they'll say $200, $250 a year, even $300 is too much for a service plan with an outstanding company. Do the math, folks. It comes to about $20 a month, maybe 25. How much is a Starbucks drink now? $8. Three venti grande Starbucks drinks. Okay, so I was always kind of skeptical of these service plans. Okay, it's kind of like, okay, do I do it or do I not? But I figured, well, if worse comes to worse, I've paid for my twice a year maintenance. All right, if worse comes to worse, this company, in my opinion, is outstanding. So if you are in Tampa and you want an AC company, and it does, it says here, check out their 5-star customer reviews. Yeah, this company walks the walk and talks the talk. So if you're in Tampa, I really do recommend Caldeco. Honestly, okay. Now, with any big company, somebody's going to say they suck. All right. Let me give you why I don't run by that. Okay. I'm a teacher. I've taught more than 1,000 students. I guarantee it to you, if you had to line me up in stars, hopefully the majority of the stars fall on 4 and 5, but you're going to get that one star that says, nope, Miss Horn sucks. You're going to get it. All right. You're going to get it. So I try to always look at, who are the people that I know that use the company, and then what are the needs that I have? Does the company meet that? And in general, what are the reviews in general? And if 90+% can say it's great, and you got the bottom that say it's not so good, I then, I look at the bottom and I go, okay, what is the issue? Because there's always two sides. But if the majority, if they got 95%, awesome. You know what? I'll take a chance. But I just absolutely love this company. So for my after chat, I wanted to talk about Caldeco in case you're in Tampa. Okay. And I don't know if they're in other states or not, but I know they're here in Tampa. All right, guys, that's the end of Chit Chat for tonight. Oh, good Lord, it's 10 o'clock. All right, it's time for me to take off the eyeliner, lipstick. Betty bye time. Well, that was a wonderful chat, wasn't it? I want to thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm Carrie. This is Student Loan Chit Chat. Thank you for joining me. I do hope you will consider subscribing. And you guys, you have a wonderful and blessed Saturday night. Bye.